sharing with everyone here on what's working for me. It's working for me in the past, and hopefully you could just take away one or two ideas and one or two of these strategies and maybe implement it into your business to help you grow and grow your business as well. So we'll get started with the webinar. Today's webinar is going to be about generating leads. The other day I went to Starbucks, and I don't drink a whole lot of Starbucks, but I went there because some people from the office, my team members and my assistants, they like Starbucks. So I ran over there and I asked them, what would you guys want for today? And they said, oh, we'll take some Starbucks. I ran over to Starbucks and I walked out of there paying like $18 for like 3 cups of coffee. They're kind of fancy coffees, but I was blown away, like thinking about it, like it's $18 for coffee that we're spending now. Yeah. And what I realized is I started thinking about today's webinars, how much money we actually spend out there, that we could actually take that money, even if we cut it back to, and allocate some of this money into marketing and into leads. What impact would it have on your business? I talk with a lot of agents, a lot of realtors from all parts of the country, from local, throughout the country. And I know, like, if they could actually generate 5 more transactions each year, what would that do to their business? Like, what would it do to your business? So I always ask them, like, what would it do? And sometimes it's right there in front of us, and we just maybe not taking the right action on it. So I believe if you're on this, watching this webinar, there's a reason why you're here. And hopefully you could take away some of the topics I'm going to share with you and put them to action right away. And if you're at Starbucks buying 3 cups of coffee, maybe you could just trim it down to 2. My wife, she loves Starbucks, so she'll go to Starbucks twice a day, and I think she's crazy. She tells me, like, do you want anything from Starbucks? And I kind of laugh. I'm like, I could go in the fridge right now. She's got her Starbucks from this morning. She's going to go get another one. Yeah, definitely. So, I think if we just kind of look a little further, find ways to generate leads. And for me, when I started doing this back in 2009, I've always looked for the least amount, like as far as cost-wise, the least cost-effective way to generate a lead, because it's that one lead that we generate today, tomorrow could be another lead. In 30 days, we have 30 new opportunities, and that's what we're going to share today. Okay. So just a little bit of background about myself. I'm the President and CEO at California Housing Store, also team leader at Delgado Realty, the #1 sales team at our Downey Association of Realtors. So we operate a successful real estate team. 2010, GCI was right around 400,000. It's really when I put the team in motion. Since 2015, we've been over $1 million in GCI. Number of leads, we generate over 1,000 leads per month. So it's something I'm very, very familiar with. I know how to generate leads from all different costs, and we're going to touch on some of those today. And $462,000 paid out to 3 agents. And I tell you that because there's something else I want to share. In 2007, if you're in real estate back then, in 2008, we had the financial crisis that was devastation. A lot of people I knew at the time were losing their jobs. I had a lot of family members losing their homes, and we basically hit a brick wall. So, it really started turning. There was a big turning point in my life, right? The day we got married, which was 7/7/7, and that day after, and it's not because we got married. We're happily married today. I love my wife. She's the backbone to everything I do. But that was a huge turning point, and I've been in a lot of different shoes over the years. I've been in the struggles, I've been in the pitfalls. I've racked up over $100,000 credit card debt between me and my wife real quick, and it's very easy to do that if you've got 5 cards, because back at that time, banks were giving out credit left and right. So if you had good credit, they start you off at $2,000, and before you know it, you're at $5,000, $10,000 on a credit card. So racking up $100,000 in credit card debt happens very fast. A little difficult today because they're a little bit more tighter with their credit guidelines, but I've been in those shoes. I had to find ways to generate leads, and I told everybody at that time I'm going to go be a realtor, and they all laughed at me because 2008, foreclosures were on the rise. No one really wanted to sell their house. Our house was in foreclosure. Our cars were getting repossessed, you name it. So we're going through it, you know. And I share that with you because if you're in that situation, um, just don't focus on where you're currently at right now. If you focus where you're currently at, then you're not going to change where you want to go. First thing you got to do is focus on where you want to go, and then develop a plan around that. And I believe if you just take that advice, it will work for you as well. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this next screen is because it ties into my past and a lot of people I know their past as well, including these famous people. So there's a common thing with people that they have to fail in order to become some sort of success. And a lot of times those failures will blind us from other possibilities. So I came across this quote by Albert Einstein. It says right here, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. And being a realtor, you have to try things new. We will make mistakes. I've made mistakes, and today hopefully you could take some of the things that I've learned and avoid some of these mistakes out there and take action on it. So I want to just kind of go over a few of these famous people here. Albert Einstein, he was told at the age of 4 by his teachers that he would never amount to much. So the reason why is because he wasn't able to speak till 4 years old. So if you think about that, he already being putting like a label on him. He's going to be a failure. And here we got Albert Einstein, one of the greatest geniuses to ever walk the planet Earth. Then you got Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan, his background is after being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in the room, and cried. And who did he become? One of the biggest basketball players in the NBA history. So he's got more championships. I've lost count, but I think I see about 7 or 6 rings on his finger there. So you can see that what he's done though is he's acknowledged it, like I wasn't good enough. What am I going to do better? That to some people they just took that as a mistake and went out and conquered basketball. How about Walt Disney? He was fired from a newspaper job for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. That's mind-boggling, like what he became, right?
Definitely.
How about Steve Jobs? Like this one, if you're not familiar with Steve Jobs, he's the guy that started Apple, right? Started Apple, and his board, his college, associates that he started this company with, basically fired him. They asked him that he could not be part of the board anymore. They removed him from the company that he started. Well, later on, he comes back and created a lot of things with Apple, created the iPhone, and it's really what Steve Jobs is. He's a really good marketer. I believe all these people just knew how to market themselves, and we're going to touch on a bit on that. Oprah Winfrey, she was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. Last time I saw, she owns a television. It's called Own It. So here you have somebody that's, let go of her job, said she wasn't fit, and took that negative and turned it right into a positive. So as you can see, all of these folks right here, including the Beatles, they said that they had no future in the show business, turned something around. They took what most will just walk away and turned it into a major success. So in life, we will have our failures. We'll have, things that are going to be coming at us, and we just got to know how to just keep going. And I hope that's kind of the message with today. It is tied into lead generation. If you've tried leads in the past, maybe we need to try it just a little bit different. Maybe it just didn't work out. I know for me, I didn't have much money. Finances were very limited in 2008, 2009. So I had to go with, programs out there that were very inexpensive. And in today's real estate market, in today's world, there's more systems out there that people are trying to sell you, and maybe it's just very complex too. Like, there's a lot of advertising out there. All these companies really trying to just, you know, get some of the money from the money that we're making off our commissions, and they've created systems out there, and they're trying to sell us leads. So today, we're going to focus on just one of them. When I just got started, I focused on a free system. It was Craigslist, and literally that launched my career as being a realtor. So 2009, 2010 is when it really took off, and I mastered online lead generation. Back then, we weren't even advertising. Some of these companies were not even around. They've all developed since then. But we've heard of Zillow, Realtor.com, SmartZip, Market Leader, Zerple, Boomtown. These are all some great companies. Many of them are very, very good. But what we're talking about today is not going to spend an arm and a leg on creating a marketing system for you. Today's going to be about, like, maybe with a cup of coffee per day, you know, if it's $4 to $5 a day to generate that one extra lead each day. So in 30 days, hopefully you'll have 30 new opportunities that you can talk to. That's my goal for you. So the one that we're going to talk about today is going to be Facebook. Facebook has been something that's always changing.
Before we continue, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
Before we continue, I just wanna ask, because you say doing new things is a good thing. So I want to ask, how often do you do something new? Are you always looking into new things? And like, how many things have you done in the past, and how long did it take? Was it 1 month, or every month did you look at something new, or were you always looking into new things?
That's a great question, Andrew. And I think that's really the main responsibility of a realtor's job, is to test different systems. As you get busier and as you start closing more transactions, there's got to be some sort of investment back into your business, and I call it testing. Not everything's going to work. Some are going to work better than others, but yes, as soon as you find something that works, you definitely going to probably gravitate towards something that you're going to want to test out. And my rule of thumb is, you know, just test small, right? Just have a budget that you could work within. I generally like to keep my overall budget right about 10%. So that's my budget, that's my threshold. Sometimes it's down to 5%, but overall maximum, you do want to set a budget and then test.
Okay, and are you always keeping up with the most recent trends, like social media, stuff like that? Are you always looking into that?
I'm always testing.
Always testing? Okay,
yeah.
Sounds good.
I started testing, we'll just talk about Facebook. Facebook's been around for a long time, but it's nowhere near today what it was a few years back. Yeah. So it's evolved, it's gotten better. It's gotten better for marketing purposes, as far as realtors and advertising, and to generate leads. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, because a lot of these companies, you know, it takes a bigger budget, and it's not designed for, you know, most agents out there wanting to grow their business. I like to say grow at a good pace, which is just start with a small budget, and then you could grow into some more kind of expensive type marketing systems out there.
But you definitely want to start small, right?
Yeah, start small and test.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so we want to, that is not my photo, by the way. I found this photo and I said, that's a little cheesy photo. So creating a system shouldn't be that difficult. Like, so when I saw this, I'm like, okay, a system's got to be something that you can train somebody over and over, so simple that they could just do it over and over for you. And we call that a CRM. So a CRM is a system that you can manage these leads in there and have one central location where all the leads get poured into, and then you got to have a systemized way on how that operates, and choosing a really good system to help you out with there. A lot of them are You know, I think at one point in time, I might have think the MLS might have had their own CRM. There's lots of systems out there. There's no perfect system. It's the system that you're going to use. I've talked to realtors where they say, well, I use my phone book in my iPhone, and that's where I kind of draw the line. You know, that is could be a CRM, but what I want to stress here is a CRM is where you can manage a group of contacts, whether it be 50 leads or 10,000 leads, where you could just do a couple clicks and find all your best prospects out, maybe the most hottest ones that you're engaging with, and it's not going to require a whole lot of work to do that. Maybe you want to, with a couple other clicks, you want to send out a postcard to these homeowners that you've engaging with and market to them, and a good CRM will allow you to do that. But the phone, iPhone, you're kind of limited. Outlook, you're limited as well. So choose a really specific type of CRM out there. Just to name a few, there's Top Producer, Wise Agent. When I first got started, I was using Agent Office, but there's many of them out there. I think if you just Google that up, find one. There's ones out there that have a lot of training videos and webinars that you can just watch these webinars, and they're going to walk you through the process. Because what you want is a place to put these leads into and have some sort of follow-up system. I tell a lot of realtors, the money is not in generating the lead. The money is generating it's in the conversion process. So what I mean by that is we could generate all the leads that you want if you wanted 1,000 leads a month, but you got to be able to convert those leads. And the first tool that you're going to need is going to be a good CRM.
Okay, and what does CRM exactly stand for?
Customer Relationship Management.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. So I hope you're taking some notes here. If you're not, grab a pen and paper so you can, because I think a couple of these topics that we're going to cover here is hopefully can maybe give you a new perspective as a realtor. Okay, and that's another goal I have here. Is that was a major part in my transformation of basically that got me to this level today. So I really understand this process, and I hope you will too. The purpose of marketing is not to promote ourselves. Our main job as a realtor is to attract prospects, and there's a big difference in that, and that's what we want to go over. So we don't want to sell to the prospects, because when we do, the prospects are going to run away, and we could only attract them through effective marketing. And effective marketing is going to compel that buyer or seller to contact you, basically to get what they are looking for. And it's very important to understand this process here, because this is what's going to get somebody to raise their hand to contact you. So with effective marketing, our focus is not going to be on us. It's going to be all on the prospect's needs. So the key here is to find out what they want. And we're going to go touch on that right now. So that way the prospect's motivated into their own actions to call you. So it's a pretty simple exercise here, but we have to understand what they want. Because if we understand what the buyers want, because that's the only vote that counts. It's not my vote. It's not what I think that they want. If I ask myself this question, or after I surveyed, over 100 realtors, a lot of times the answers I get is, it's very important without a doubt, but the number one things that buyers want, and I'm going to give that to you, it's usually not what we really think that they want. And that's really important for us to understand. So when we run these ads, and we're going to touch on that, is we're going to target that. And if we target what buyers want and what sellers want, then we're going to have more people responding to your ads.
Okay. Yeah,
better
definitely.
response, better,
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah. More traffic
more
because
traffic.
you know exactly what the buyers want and you know exactly what the sellers want, so
Exactly.
they're more interactive
Right.
in the advertisement, right?
Exactly.
Hmm.
All right. So it's actually very simple. So um, I'm gonna just share with you what buyers want. So we could take the guess game out of this. So what buyers want is they want they want houses by motivated home sellers. And last time I asked this to an agent, this realtor friend of mine, he says, well, they want cheap houses. Okay, perfect. They want cheap, undervalued, underpriced homes. That's exactly what buyers want. What do sellers want? Um, they want buyers to pay the most amount of money. The
Hmm.
strange, ironic thing, though, is they want each other, but they want exactly the opposite. So, but if you know what buyers want, then we just have to create our ads around that. And that's the key, really, to advertising. So,
Definitely. Yeah.
another thing that we're going to go over here is we all are listening to the same radio station as consumers. Like I listen to it. I would imagine everybody listening and watching this has the same station as well, and it's called WIFM. What's in it for me? I don't know if you've heard it on the radio, but it's all playing in our mind,
Hmm.
and it's important to understand this concept because people just won't call you just because they know who you are. So when we're going to be talking about Facebook advertising, we got to give them a compelling reason to call you. The compelling reason must touch on, for that specific buyer, what's in it for me. Basically, they're asking themselves, what am I going to get from calling Dave Delgado? Okay, so that's, we're going to put the message together, and that's going to be your message out there. Another like furthermore here is uh, prospects here. When I really understood this part, it made my life doing business a lot easier with more people. And and now that I knew that, all right, so what's in it for me? Here's the question that they're asking themselves: if I use this agent's services, I will get X. So in our ads that we run on Facebook, Craigslist, if you're into Twitter, what are some of the other ones that are out there?
A lot of social
A lot
media.
of the social
Yeah, like
media.
those are all the
Instagram,
main ones. Yeah, Instagram
Instagram,
definitely is another one.
yeah.
And
So
I've heard of Hootsuite as well.
Hootsuite,
Yes.
right? So there's all these types of mediums that you can use, and as long as the message is solving this for that consumer, if I use this agent, I will get X. So that's certainly a bullet point that I want to highlight, and it's got to be in all your marketing out there, and it's going to make a huge impact on whether that somebody's going to be feeling compelled to call you versus going on to the next ad. So this statement is ultimately what we call a unique selling proposition. It's what we call a USP. Have you ever heard of Domino's Pizza, guaranteed delivery in 30 minutes or less, or it's free? This is a billion-dollar company that built its name off a unique selling proposition. So I just ask realtors, and if it's good enough for Domino's Pizza, then why more realtors don't also develop their own USP?
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to know that if I use this agent services, I will get X. So having that in all your marketing, you're going to have more people asking you to do business with them. And that went on for many years. Domino's Pizza, unfortunately, could no longer have that statement out there as their unique selling proposition. But they had some actually a car accident go wrong. Somebody trying to get to the house within 30 minutes to make sure the delivery happened. But my point was is if a pizza company's out there doing it, then I think it's a good sign that us realtors can really look into. and find something that's you're really comfortable on offering, and then make sure that the public, the consumers, know about it, and you're going to get more business as a result of that.
Yeah. And for example, like we can have a person who wants a, cheaper house, right?
Yep.
So if I use this agent services, I would get something like a cheaper house, a good
Right.
price, something that will make me happy. That can be something that we can use in this type of
Exactly.
USP, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Great point, Andrew. And we're going to cover a couple of these USPs that's, they could actually take away. Maybe you're using it right now, maybe you're not. Maybe you could add to what you're currently offering. And that's the whole purpose of marketing, is to generate more leads, but also get more people wanting to do business with you. So what is a USP? It tells the world who we are, specifically what we do. Like us as realtors, like what are we actually doing? Like what can we do for buyers and what can we do for sellers? And we have to be able to articulate this USP very clearly and concisely of the benefit or benefits, because marketing, we've got like a nanosecond to catch their attention. So if we're running an ad on Facebook, the attention span is getting smaller and smaller, and it's got to be very clear and concise to grab their attention, and it's got to point out the benefits. And a question that I was told is from Dan Kennedy is, why should I do business with you above all other options, including doing nothing or whatever I'm doing right now? That's a solid USP that answers that. That will take buyers to take action, feel compelled to do business with you, respond to your ad, versus just passing it up. So we've got a split second, a nanosecond to make sure that they see this, and so they can take action. Here's a couple of our USPs. You could write these down and put them into work right away. Your home sold for market value. It could be your home sold for your price, your asking price, or I'll pay the difference. You can cancel your listing with me at any time. These are what we call performance guarantees. Basically, if I don't perform, here's what's going to happen. Maybe the pay the difference could be a penalty, like I'll pay you $1,000 out of my commission. I'll reduce my commission. I'll sell it for free. The other day I was driving down the street and I saw a sign out in front of a company that says, 5 gallons free water when you purchase 20 gallons or more. So that's a unique selling proposition. Okay, buy your next home for 0 down and no money down needed. That's huge. That's exactly what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a USP perfect for what kind of buyers? Mostly first-time home buyers. So if you want to grow your first-time home buyers and start helping more people purchase homes for the first time, that's a fabulous USP. It's something that targets them, that says it's affordable. Really what I'm saying right here is you could buy a home from me and I'm going to make it really affordable. That's really what the way they interpret that. And that's the message out there. And then you could have some sort of call to action right after that. Save at least $10,000 on your next home purchase guaranteed. I'll pay you $1,000 cash right out of my commission. There's lots of real estate companies doing that nowadays today. They're all over. So if you just take some of these unique selling propositions and start integrating it with your maybe current advertising, or even, if this is something new for you, I would say try it and see how it works. Hopefully it has a positive impact on your business. Couple things here. So the key thing here is to really understand the purpose of marketing, right? Nowhere here I covered much about myself. When I say buyer home, no money down, buyer home, even if it's $1,000 down, $2,000, whatever the special financing you can arrange for that home or for, from your contact lenders, then run with it. All I'm saying is it's affordable. These are what buyers want to hear. Remember, we found out what buyers want. They want affordable, cheap, underpriced homes, and that's the unique selling proposition behind it. So now if you see my advertising, that's why I'm doing it. And it's working for me, and I'm saying go ahead and do this type of stuff because it will work for you. If we do less emphasis on myself and more emphasis on the prospects, then we're going to get more prospects to call you. And I think that's our goal. So here's our what you really need. These 3 bullet points in your marketing, and we've talked about some real benefits, right? What are the benefits? Like, what are they going to get if they call you? If I'm advertising, no money down, or buy this home with $3,000 down payment, right? The benefit is they're going to get affordability, right? And that's going to be very compelling to a lot of first-time home buyers. I talk to a lot of first-time home buyers every day, and you'd be amazed at how many don't know about this program. And every time I offer it, they get real excited. And what I'm doing right here is I'm creating some hope. I'm giving them some hope that there is a possibility, because I think they're thinking, I got to save more money. And saving sometimes is just not in the family household budget. And that's one of the reasons that I think I'm so effective on our marketing, is because I'm giving them compelling reasons and hope that I could get this thing done. Okay. Third thing here is I'm giving prospects a non-threatening way to get it. Facebook is so non-threatening nowadays. It's really so easy, and it's by far one of my best systems out there, the least expensive out there to do, and it's very non-threatening. So why is it non-threatening? Like, maybe we haven't really thought about this. Well, think about it. Well, I don't know, every time I create an account on Facebook, they pretty much have all my information, and if you run an ad, I'm putting my credit card on file. I'm paying for stuff. So Facebook knows who I am, like, right? So for the consumer, there's some credibility behind Facebook, a lot more credibility versus Craigslist. So I see Facebook as one of the best mediums out there to advertise in, because of the credibility, the non-threatening. They can do research on you. They don't feel threatened, and then they could still give you their information so you could contact them about buying or selling a home. 3 bullet points there are super important to have part of your marketing. So where do our leads come from? So we use different types of leads, advertising, signs. That's a common one. We're going to talk about Facebook ads, Google pay-per-click. I've been doing Google for, gosh, I don't know how many years, since 2010. I was doing Google before Facebook, because back then Facebook wasn't that great where it's at today. So it's evolved, and that's why we got to continue to test. Was I testing in Facebook back in 2010? Absolutely. Just not where it is today. It's way better. Whereas Google is having some struggles out there. Google's constantly revising their algorithms. They're constantly updating on how these searches work, and it's a constant battle as a marketer and running ads on there. Whereas Facebook, they are making changes, and to me it's more friendly, easier to do, easier and less expensive than anything that out there right now. So we're going to touch on that today.
I have one question.
Yep.
So for Facebook, do you usually have your team post up on Facebook, or is it you personally posting on Facebook? And is it cost effective? Does it save you money? Is it expensive, or is it cheap?
Right. Yeah, Facebook, there's 2 ways to run an ad on Facebook. And one is you could actually go on there and post an ad, and I was doing all the postings at one point in time, but now I have a full-time marketing assistant that she just handles all of our marketing.
Oh, perfect.
Now you could actually do, it's kind of like a pay-per-click advertising on Facebook, so you could put a credit card down and pay for and set a budget up to charge your credit card. And the budgets is what's cool about Facebook is you could actually control this budget on a daily basis.
Perfect.
So if you could take that Starbucks coffee,
Mm-hmm.
save, and put it to work,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have some opportunities each day.
Yeah. I have one more question. Do you recommend getting a marketing assistant, and like when you're able to afford a marketing assistant, did it help you in your business as well? Just by investing.
Right. Good question, Andrew. Marketing and getting any assistant, I think it's you want to do it as fast as possible, but at the same time, you got to be very careful when you do it. I believe my way of growing a team is to generate more business that person can handle, therefore go out hiring some assistants that you could leverage their time with so you could do higher dollar producing activities.
Hmm. Okay, interesting. And you do recommend getting it as fast as possible, as soon as you can.
As soon as you can.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So there's two issues here that we're going to talk about. We touched on a couple of these things, and we're going to go over this again here. So we're all going to agree on something here, is that we can't sell a house in the ad. It's very, very difficult. Yes, from time it does happen, but how likely is it that some prospect out there, sees my ad about my listing and so convinced on what I wrote, and then buy the property, sight unseen, right over the phone? It wouldn't happen, would it? Yeah, I to this day, just hasn't happened. I've done a lot of advertising. I've done couple of hundred ads out there, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So our main goal, though, is to get that prospect to contact us, and the fact is, though, is that we can't sell any big ticket item just based on the ad, right? So not even expensive clothes, not cars, not a home. So if we just take a step back and think about this, that we can't sell the house in the ad, then we may generate some business out of it. And if we get lucky and the buyer does buy that house that we advertise, and we got lucky, and our sellers are going to love us, but our number one job is to generate more buyer leads. You get more buyer leads, then you're going to have, that's going to lead into more listings, and if you have more listings, you're going to have more buyers calling on those listings, maybe some, very few buying on them, maybe buying other property, but that's usually what happens, right? What's the percentage? I mean, to buy that home happens once in a while. So what happens more often than not is we end up working with that buyer and selling them on another home. And a lot of times, it's not even our office listing. So our job as realtors is to really understand this issue right here, is to don't just generate the lead, and if they're not interested in it, work with them, find out what they want, find out what's important to them about wherever they want to buy, talk to them, find out their needs and wants and likes and dislikes, and then maybe there might be another listing in the area that matches exactly what they want, and then help them with that.
And would you say, finding out what they want, getting into their shoes, would be like something like talking to them, having a conversation? Is that what you do usually, to like really find out what buyers want, what sellers want?
That's exactly what I do, Andrew. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so the job of the Facebook ad is my major point here is, I know this might sound, you know, kind of awkward, but it was not to sell the house in the ad. Like, and my job is to get first, like the very first step is the buyer to be interested and respond. That's step one. Step two, if it happens that they do like the house and I show them the house and it just, you know, the stars align and the moons are aligned, everything works out and it's that perfect house. But the fact is, it just rarely happens that way. Now I just got a buyer that, you know, is qualified, and now I can find out what they want in a home. Maybe after I show them that house, I could find out what they didn't like about that home, and then I could go back into the MLS and find them the home that they're really looking for.
And by raise their hand, do you mean like they basically come to you, they start building a relationship with you?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by raising their hand?
Yep, that's exactly it. I want them to raise their hand and say, hey, I need some help over here.
Okay.
Can you help me with buying a house? Maybe I need help looking at that house right over there, and that's my goal.
Okay, so your goal is to basically just get that hook, that relationship, hook them in, have them build a relationship with you, and choose you to start selling their homes.
Exactly.
Yeah, or to start buying homes.
Yeah, wherever they're at in the home buying process, if they're buying or selling, I can figure that out then, and then I'll help them best, you know, when I figure where they're currently at.
Yeah, and I think that's key because your job in the ad is not really to sell the house. It's more to like catch them and bring them in to start building a relationship with you, to start having some clients, just really have like, I feel like you're going for more like loyal clients, someone who you're going to build a relationship with, and that's what your job is in the ad. You want to basically attract them.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty's huge.
Yes.
All right. So how do we generate a buyer without a Downey listing? And a lot of offices carry lots of inventory out there, right? So that inventory, you could ask your office and say, hey, you know, I would like to advertise your listing. You know, you could be a new agent getting into the business and have 0 buyers, 0 listings. That should not stop you from running, you know, this type of campaign. It could really put you on the map. I mean, that's exactly what I was doing out here. So what do? We need a listing. We need a listing from your office. You could ask, you know, maybe they're not even part of your office. I would call, you know, other agents in the area and ask them if I could run their listing. And they said, sure, no problem. I sent them an email. They're okay with it. And, you know, I let them know I specialize in buyers, and that's all I do. And they're like, have at it, you know. I was running in Craigslist and things like that. So you don't need to have your own listing, right? We could get permission and run this.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and if we go back to the way I think is, yeah, my goal is to sell this house, but the odds are it's pretty slim. You know, if it happens, that's great, but at the end of the day, I've got a buyer that's looking for a home in Downey. And if I could do that once a week, it's certainly going to add up.
And do you usually do it once a week?
Oh, I'm doing it all the time, Andrew.
All the time?
All the time. Our systems, you know, just they're constantly. We've got ads all constantly running.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of give a little tutorial on Facebook, and the reason why I want to cover this is it's only a few screens and it's not that difficult to do. So even if you know you're not a tech savvy person, it's very easy to get this thing going. There's a couple things that you'll need to do though, so you want to write this down. You're certainly going to need a Facebook page. Okay, so you're going to have to create a personal account, and then you're going to want to create a business page. It's just what they call pages. So you can have most people, because there's over, I don't know, 1 billion users on Facebook, so I think everybody has a Facebook page, their personal page, and now you're just going to go create a business page, right? So This is just going to be one example here, and I'm going to walk you through the right things to do, because doing some of this here or misclicking on one area that I won't advise on can really impact on on the leads, on the number of leads that you get. You might spend money on clicks versus other things. So the way Facebook has this thing set up, it's amazing of all the information they have on us. So here's just a campaign that I set up just for an example, and this is why I really think a cup of coffee a day can really get somebody going on this type of leads. This doesn't require you to post anything. This is not a manual post. Once we set this up, it will run automatically for you 24 hours, 7 days a week. Okay? So you could set the budget in there, but you can see my average per lead was $2.19. In about a week or so, I spent $52, and I generated 24 leads from these 2 campaigns here.
Wow.
Okay. So $2 a lead. If you're looking to generate 1 lead a day, which you could set a budget in there, we're going to show you that. So you can slowly build this up, and that's what I really recommend. Is you just going to slowly build this up. That way, as you get more business, you might invest some of this money right back into some more marketing, and then you're just going to create a little bit bigger budget. You have a bigger budget, you're going to generate more leads, and before you know it, you're going from 30 leads a month to a couple hundred.
And is this Facebook?
This is Facebook.
Okay. And then for the ads, the campaigns, did you have to create that and then submit it?
Yep.
Or how does the process work?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to walk everybody through on the webinar right now.
Perfect.
on how that's done, because it's fairly simple. And I wanted to point how simple it is, so if you're hesitating about doing this, hopefully, I talked about Albert Einstein. We got to try things new. We are going to make mistakes along the way. It's part of the process. And what I'm saying, it's okay to make mistakes. Okay, it's going to be okay. If you have any questions on how to set this up, you could always, send me an email or give me a call. It's very easy. There's a lot of tutorials probably on YouTube that can walk you through it. So if you don't catch all the details here, you could always go back and find out how to do it. But there's a couple things I do want to point out that are critical for your success on Facebook advertising. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create an ad, and on the top right corner in Facebook, you'll see it right there when you log in. It says create ads. And before you do this, you're going to have a business page set up. So those are 2 things that you need to do: personal page, business page. Once those 2 are there, then you're going to go and say create an ad. Okay, so it's going to be on the top right corner in Facebook. Depending on, sometimes those technology companies change things, but you're just looking for create an ad. This is something new that came out not too long ago. And this is very, very important. So they give us different options here on how to advertise on Facebook, and there's only one option here that I highly suggest, that I recommend, which is you want to use the lead generation option. If you're using anything else, you're not going to get the same conversion. It's not going to convert the same way. It's going to cost you money. I've heard from costing you money with maybe no leads to, costing you money with very few leads. So if you want the maximum number of leads, you're going to want to use this option down here called lead generation. So after you click on create an ad, this is the very next screen, and then you're just going to highlight that. You're going to select that, click on that. From there, it's going to take you to this screen here, and you're going to want to label your campaign. If you do the really good labeling part of what I call the CRM, there's got to be some sort of tracking. If this is your first time doing this, then I'm hoping it's not your first and last, where like me, once I started doing this, I just kept on doing it, and before you know it, you have 300 to 500 different lead ad campaigns in there. So you want a very specific lead campaign name. So be somewhat creative, but be very specific. Maybe it could be, Downey, could be the property address in Downey, right? 123 Main Street, Downey. So it's very specific, so that way you could always test. That's the key here, testing, so we could have two campaigns sometimes running against each other to find out which one has better results. And that's why I had two different ads going at the same time. I wanted to find out which one's going to be better.
Okay.
So the next page is we got to choose our Facebook page that you want to promote. And that will be automatically defaulted on your page that you created. And you just select it. You got to accept the terms. Facebook gives you those options. You got to accept the terms. I'm not, you probably want to go through the terms, but check those things out, accept them, and then move on. So the next slide here is you want to create your audience. Facebook is like no other type of marketing system out there. And that's what I look at Facebook as. I look at it as a marketing system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can use Facebook to generate more buyers and seller prospects, and that's you're leveraging that platform. And Facebook is looking at it at the same way. They're a medium company. They're there to sell advertising space to people and then give you a free account. So it's a clever idea that they came up with. The good thing about this is they know where you live, they know your age, and they know the demographics. So it makes it very powerful from a marketer's point of view. If I want to pinpoint a first-time home buyer, if I want to pinpoint a move-up buyer in different locations, so I could set the parameters up based on who I want to target. That's what this page is going to allow you to do. The next page, you could set your daily budget, and starting this for the first time, you might want to start off with $5 a day, right? And right here, you could run your ad continuously starting today, or you could set a start and end date. So let's say you want to run it for $5 a day for 30 days, and then I would click on set a start date and end date, and it ends at that date, and that's it. Which is nice about that is if you have a budget of $100, then you could set up a budget to run $100 for so many days, and it's automatically going to stop. Pretty cool.
And is $20 a day your budget usually?
I usually do $20 a day for Facebook ads.
Okay.
Yep. So especially if you're finding something that's working, but getting started, run it for $5 a day. You're going to find out it's working or not, and then invest back into it as much as possible, as much as you can afford. If it's working, invest back into it, and that's going to create more opportunities for you. Everything else you see on the screen is pretty much defaulted. You got the leads, the drop down there, automatic. We're going to just leave that the way it is. The next screen, you're going to be able to select the photos or even a video. These are things that you could test. Video is becoming way more popular today versus single image advertising or slideshows. But I've got a pretty cost per lead right now for right around $2 a lead. I'm just using that as an example right now. But you can certainly create more images with the carousel or the single videos and things like that, and just test it. But if you don't have that right now, don't hold back. Just find one photo of the home. Maybe run by the house if they're going to give you permission. If it's local, just take a picture and put it in there, and you're good to go. This is where the images will upload, and you'll have your headline. This is basically, you'll have your headline in there, a call to action. So what are some things that we could put in there? All right, so you have maybe a picture of a house. I showed you that one picture. You could put the property description in the text. As you can see, it doesn't give us a whole lot of room to do this. But one thing you could certainly put in there is, buy a home or buy this home with little to no money down. Call Dave Delgado, for, to access property today. So I would run like a USP if you're targeting first-time home buyers on how to buy a home with no money down. And then you're going to include that in the text part. And it's got to be, very visible so that way they can see it, and so they click sign up right away. As you can see, it's now very non-threatening. They can see who the agent is. They feel comfortable, and that's why they're going to click on your ad, and then you're going to get that information, their information. There's important things to understand where these leads get sent to them. With this type of marketing, you have to monitor, the comments. Okay, so you have to pay attention. You got to respond back to these people if they want more information on how to buy a home with, low down financing or impaired credit. If that's your unique selling proposition, they're going to be putting comments out there, so you have to monitor it. The other part to understand is these leads have to be downloaded.
I have a question for the monitoring. Do you usually monitor that on your own, or do you have an assistant who helps you monitor that, lets you know, notifies you? How does that work for the monitoring process?
If you have the resources to hire somebody to be part of your team, I have a team member that's all over my Facebook, manages the posts, the replies, the comments, engaging. I really trust that person, so they have full access to manage that. You don't want to have somebody post a comment on there, say, hey, give me a call, and then you don't reply back, and it's not good in social media for that type of activity. So monitoring it, finding somebody that can monitor for you if possible, or just gonna have to monitor yourself.
Definitely, and you do want to stay consistent, always
Yep.
replying and always staying up to date.
Exactly.
And that will make your credibility also grow because you're always
Right.
on it.
Right.
You're always staying consistent, so people trust you more.
Exactly. Yep. All right, so what happens with the leads now? Facebook does not have a CRM. They don't have any systems like that. All these other companies out there, they do have their own CRM. Facebook is not a real estate company, right? They're somewhat of a marketing company, like a conduit that allows marketers and realtors to advertise on there. That's how they make their money. But they don't have a CRM where you could where these leads get sent to. So we got to connect your CRM to the system, and there's just not a really good system for that. I've come up with a way that I can do it, but for the most part, most realtors will have a little challenge with this. So whoever's monitoring the Facebook needs to monitor these leads as they're coming in, and there's no notification about it, so you have to be aware of it, and you got to be on top of it. Because if somebody sent you the request and you call them back a week from now, online advertising, calling them back a week later, I think they might have found another realtor to help them with that process.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
So downloading these leads, constantly managing, those comments, throughout the day is really critical to this process. I want to share with everyone how important it is as you start to grow some lead generation. As you grow, you got to have some sort of measuring system, number of leads that you're getting per day, and tracking conversion, and making sure you're tracking that sort of thing. So whether it be on an Excel spreadsheet, it works perfectly fine, but you need to have something that's going to track these leads, and you're going to track them all the way down to the campaign. Meaning, when we first started, it said lead campaign. You're going to track the campaign, and then how many leads you're going to get from that campaign, and then how many appointments that you booked, and how many people you're showing houses, and how many people you've helped. So tracking is critical. with Excel, you could run all the numbers on there. You could figure out, how many leads you're getting per day. And then as you start to grow, this becomes even more important. No one starts off generating, 300 to 500 leads overnight. It's impossible.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you take this in steps and you work on it every single day, I see a lot of people do it.
And is this Excel right here?
This is one of our websites, but it's very similar to our Excel spreadsheet that I utilize that helps me manage the leads. So I've got an Excel spreadsheet that every day we could plug in where the lead came from, if it resulted in an appointment, and it all calculates it out to the end of the month.
Okay.
So we're kind of winding down here, and I wanted to put this out here if there's any questions or anything like that. But we've got this sign here. It's not my sign, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. Whatever type of advertising you're going to do, before you hang it up, push play, hit submit, whatever it is, have somebody take a second look at it, because it could have typos in there. I've made all these mistakes. My URL, my phone number was wrong, right?
Yeah, definitely.
To somebody just putting the sign up backwards.
Yeah.
Right? This is not my sign, but I wanted to point it out because how important it is. You work so hard to get this ad out there, let's say on Facebook, but maybe it might have a typo, right? And typos in marketing aren't really good. So just have somebody proof it. And for me, I have to, my wife was proofing it for a very long time. I'd find somebody, whether it be a relative, spouse, or somebody, and eventually you have somebody in your office doing it for you. But proofing your work before you run an ad in the newspaper, Facebook, looking for typos, double check the phone numbers. If you have a URL, web link, double check that, make sure everything's working, so that way you're going to minimize that mistake. So that's all I have for today. I'm going to pass it over to Andrew.
Okay, yeah, so I just want to introduce the next webinar. The next webinar is going to be on Wednesday, July 19th, 2017 at 1 p.m., same time. And it's going to be Luther Sanchez, a realtor with Century 21 All-Stars. His topic is going to be The Fortune is in the Follow-Up. So please join us on July 19th. And since we're over time, we are actually going to skip the questions. But have a nice day, and thank you so much for joining us.